Yeah.
Here we go. It's official, man. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. Finally at a position where I can get some friends in the studio, podcast with them a little bit. So why not bring a banger in for the first one? My man DJ Fashen.
Woo!
In the building.
Banger.
How you feeling, bro?
Banger. Woo! I gotta like switch. Boom!
Love that. Let's go. Let's go. You're in town tonight playing
Yes.
the Hot Chick with at my spot, the Hot Chick.
Yep.
How you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Glad to be back. It's always nice to come home. For those that don't know, I'm from Arizona, basically. Not born in here, but definitely raised. Grew up in Scottsdale, and made my way out to LA in 2009. And yeah, it's always nice to come home. My dad lives out here. My sister lives out here, and a lot of my friends. So,
Hell yeah.
this guy, I've known you 20 years, easy.
Long time, man. Power 92. Yeah, dude. I was trying to figure out how to ease into the podcast, but I mean, get straight to it. Yeah, man. I met you. We were doing a show. Me and Earth, the late DJ Earth, rest in peace. We did a show called Project Groove on Power 92, and it was a house music show, EDM, whatever you want to call it. And back in the day, man, if you listened to electronic music and you played hip hop, you were kind of an alien as a DJ.
Yeah.
And you were always one of those dudes that would call us late night and be like, "Yeah, you guys are crushing." I'm like,
yeah.
Is he messing with us? Or
No,
really,
always.
Yeah,
it was dope.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you're the man for a reason, and it's cool to see how far shit's come. And now, if you don't play electronic music in open format, it's kind of you're
which is so weird. Like I used to be like when I first started DJing, it was like, I was like, hip hop till I'm dead, like.
Yeah, I remember you were playing
straight
at
up. I was
Next.
like,
Remember Next? I mean,
yeah.
I used to go to the hip hop spot. You were rocking it.
Even like long before, like I was doing like a lot of the parties downtown. A lot of the HYB events, and some stuff like the Buzz in North Scottsdale, stuff like that. And but yeah, at the time I was just like, nah, it's all about this. I was like, fuck all this other shit. And then it was probably right around like 2000, 2001. Like, I filled in for Earth once.
Really?
Like, well, he was doing the noon show.
Yeah.
He did the noon show, and he was sick or something, and I was like, I'll do it. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And he let me use his records, and so it was kind of a challenge because I had never played any house music, let alone like live on the air.
Yeah.
And I
no
did.
one was really. I mean, he was breaking all those early records. Like Earth had this show called The Power Workout at Noon or something, right?
Power Workout at Noon. Yep.
And so I guess their thought there was that people wanted to leave work and go listen to electronic music on the radio and work out, I guess. But
on an hour lunch break.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's gonna happen. But no, I was actually coming in. I was in the military, and Earth was in the military, and he was leaving as I was coming in. And I would listen to this dude, and I'm like, this fucking guy is butchering house music. Like, he was playing it like hip hop.
Like hip hop style, scratching. And
dude. And I was like, bro, I got to talk to this cat. So I ended up meeting him and saying, hey, I play house music. This is how I think you should play it. Maybe you could teach me how to scratch and play hip hop. And it was kind of, we became friends. And but now everyone's rocking both.
Yeah,
both.
No, trust me. I want to say it was like right around that time, and I think I played that day, and I was just like, actually, this is actually really fun, and like I got serviced some of those records back in the day, and then moving forward a couple of years, when like the mashup stuff started really happening, and then I kind of discovered like the blog house stuff, and that's where I really was like, okay, I was kind of into it a little bit, but then like when the blog house stuff hit, then I was like, no, I'm really into this, and then from then. That's when it was just like, okay, I threw my Keep It Realer backpack in the closet, and I was like, nah, I'm cool with everything. And it, that was like the best moment ever, was to just open your mind, just be like, you know what, you got to be open to like every kind of music. And I mean, I've basically made a living off of that since that time. So
yeah, I mean, you've always been one of those dudes that, you'll mash up Bon Jovi or with something.
Oh,
you know
bro,
what I mean? You're out there with your mixes. So like,
you got to hear the new mix. You'll hear it sometime after. But
definitely,
dude,
that's a great question actually. I'm having a hard time personally right now with the resurgence of mashups. I've been DJing so long. I can remember when. Everyone was just like, I don't know if they were just using mixed in key or whatever the fuck they were doing, but it was just like everyone, any song that was in key, they would smash together, and it was just like you would barf when you hear it. And now it's like a second resurgence of mashups. So how do you feel kind of about that?
I remember the first ones, I would always try to do them in key, but I didn't know how to do it in key. And so I would just kind of like listen and test things out. And I mean, I'm sure there were ways to do it, but I was just too lazy to figure it out. And so some of the ones that I did back then, they were like, whatever. There were some cool ones, I mean, at the time, AM, he was running some of them, and that's when he was just like, yo, like, I want to put you on my shit. Pause. And, but there was, but like now, like, if you don't do your shit in key now, like, people are just like, bro.
Yeah, what are you
like,
doing?
bro, what are you doing?
And there's so much technology now. Like we were just talking in the car ride on the way over here about
like stemverter.
Like stemverter and those kind of thing. I mean, some of those files, those DIY acapellas and shit. I mean,
dude, some of them like come out incredible. Like like I was saying, the mix that I just put out today. Some of this stuff that I was like putting through the stemverter, and I was like, oh, I wonder how this acapella will sound or this that. Some of them I was just like, holy shit! Like I can't believe they sound this good. Oh yeah, they sound incredible. And then like you can separate like the bass file, the drums, and then it says categories other, which is basically like any kind of acoustics, guitars, keyboards, like whatever. But some of it's pretty insane, like what you can do now, and like. I basically, like a lot of the songs on the mix, I basically rebuilt tracks. Like, I basically remixed tracks. Like, I would pull a drum from this. I would pull a keyboard from this. I would pull a bass line from this and then an acapella from this and just build, like, a whole new track.
That's tight.
So it's not just, like, an instrumental and an acapella. And, dude, it's pretty crazy just, like, what you can do. And, like, I mean, like, I was using, like, old, like, yacht rock songs and, like, Kim Carnes and Styx. Old 80s tracks that I like.
Shit, for sure.
It's fun.
So are you getting your ideas then? Are you, like, because typically when I do a mix, I'll throw, okay, no matter how left field it is, I'll throw something into a file and then I'll say, okay, that's BPM close to here. You know what I mean? So I'll kind of like get an idea there. Oh, maybe this will mix. So is that kind of how you do it?
Pretty much the same that, and then I'll usually just open up and I try to like pull stuff in Serato, and then because you can put two, you can open up and do 2 channels in Serato, and then. And I'll be like, oh, okay, let me drop this one in, and then maybe you just see how they sound kind of together. But sometimes, like, I've noticed sometimes the acapellas, and like if you separate them and then you like analyze the files, sometimes the acapellas are in a different key than the rest of the music is, which is weird. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. And like
maybe a harmonic or something.
Yeah,
like
it's so weird. And like I've actually used some of the acapellas in key with other instrumentals, and they just don't work. They just don't sound good. And I'm like, ugh. But
yeah, well, that was kind of why, back in the day, I kind of got sick of the whole mashup thing. It was just like, oh man, it was like, I get where you're going with this, but like initially, a mashup was meant to take a song that wasn't for the dance floor and give it an appeal to some, and then I think it just lost like the whole like, I'm just gonna.
Well, I took
these two together and do whatever I want.
Even like a couple. It's been a few years now, but I took it was Natasha Bedingfield, Unwritten, and I put that with Marshmallow Tune, and like people still like tag me on posts when they run that, and everyone's singing along to it, and I literally made that. Like I had a gig in, Reno, Nevada. And I got to the hotel room, and I was watching one of my friend's stories, and he just played the original in like a venue, and everyone was singing along. I was like, I want to try to make something with that, and I literally like made it in the hotel room like in like an hour, and then like everyone from Chainsmokers, Marshmello himself, Diplo running it, and like festival stages, and I'm like, holy shit! Like it's cool when you like make something and people. It's even. I think it's more. Exciting when you make original music and you hear other people playing it, but even to just take something creative that you were just like, oh, I want to take this song that no one would even think to use and put it with this song that no one would even think to use, and then people actually run it, and then people go nuts over it, and just like, whoa, that's pretty crazy.
Well, you'll have a good time tonight, because...
Oh, I love it, man.
Yeah, we play a lot of weird shit.
I always have a good time.
Yeah, for sure. But, yeah, man, I don't know. I've been trying to, watch a lot of podcasts and tap into, a lot of these... I was watching Spider's podcast, the DJ City podcast, and I find it hard sometimes to fall in love with DJing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel the same? Do you ever feel the same way? I mean, you've been doing it a long time, man.
You know what's crazy? How do you say it? Like, I still to this day, like, I love it every single day. Still, like the same, but I think the pandemic made me fall in love with it, like. Deeper, like all over again, because during the pandemic there was like those first few weeks I went from like working every weekend straight for like the last 13 years to like nothing, and I was like,
Yeah.
what do I do right now? Like I don't know what to do with myself right now.
sure.
So then that's when people started popping up doing the Instagram lives and the Twitch, and I was like, and then when you go on there, it was like, all right, well, I want to play these records that I never, ever, ever, we as DJs, we download hordes of music weekly, to use in our sets, and you could download 200 songs and maybe find 2 that you can actually use in a set.
That's stressful.
And so I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
well, let me go on this platform and run some of these records that I never get to play. And doing that, and then also, downing a bottle of Tito's,
Yeah. Or 3.
Yeah, but it was just like, yo, I'm really into this. I'm like really feeling this. And then, before the pandemic hit, my boys, Stone Rock and Grand Funky, the captains of the industry, they're known as the captains because of their flavor and their style, their yacht rock flavor and style. And they put out some mixes and stuff. And they had put this mix out for a friend of ours, and it ran in L.A., and I was listening to it. And I was like, dude, this is amazing. I love all these records. And so in the pandemic, I was like, I think I want to do a show. And so that kind of became my staple during the pandemic, was doing this yacht rock, called it Rowboat Rock. Spider actually named it. It's like a play on Daft Punk's Robot Rock, but it was Rowboat Rock. And I used the logo is the Daft Punk font. And but yeah, I was doing that like every Sunday night for almost 3 years. I actually just did a pop-up a few nights ago, and just running old yacht rock shit. And I'm telling you, dude, like that made me fall in love with DJing again. Even like it's total genre that I never fucked with. And,
I mean, I the hard thing for me on that was like not getting a reaction, not being able to see people. You know what I mean? Like I thought prior to that I was peopled out a little bit, and like I was doing it, and I was having a good time. But like towards the end of the pandemic, I was like, man, I can't wait to get in front of people again and
oh no,
really
I'm with you.
Knock it out, yeah.
No, I'm totally with you on that. The first few shows back, it was a little nerve wracking because you just didn't know, like I didn't get COVID until last December, not this past December, but the one before, but I actually got it at one of the shows.
Oh shit!
And
I didn't get COVID because I didn't get tested.
Yeah.
Maybe, I still taste shit, so I'm all
But
set.
honestly though, it was like, but I was nervous honestly because I'm older now, and I'm like, you just never know. I've known
Right.
I knew a couple kids, a couple DJ friends,
I know.
they got COVID, and their outcome, wasn't. I mean, how do you say it nicely?
Yeah, it wasn't good for them.
It was not good.
Yeah, I mean,
they're no longer with us.
Yeah,
We'll say that.
I mean, and that's an interesting conversation as well. There was a lot of stuff that I felt in that time period was not necessarily from COVID, but got generalized in there, and that's probably a whole Alex Jones podcast that I don't care to go down. But
when's he on?
Yeah, but that actually brings up a great point. Like, how do you stay healthy? As I know you recently stopped drinking.
Yep.
Mental health is a big deal for
as of last
DJs,
week. I'm 7 months sober.
Congrats.
And actually, the pandemic, like, it was crazy because I thought I drank a lot before the pandemic, when I was on the road. Man, over the pandemic, I was drunk
Oh yeah.
I mean, I went like weeks where I was just like,
well, there was nothing to do.
No, and I don't mean like I got drunk and then went to sleep, woke up, and then drank and got drunk again. I mean, I stayed drunk for like
no doubt
weeks on end. Like,
I won't even tell you.
I never stopped drinking alcohol from the moment I went to bed to the moment I woke up. I was drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
Like, it was there were some week
that's easy to do
benders.
in our industry, man. I mean, I definitely have had to figure out ways to stay healthy and stay in check. But I see a lot of young dudes, man, still hitting the bottle and shit, and it's like you can't blame them because I definitely was there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to drink less these days, so I understand. Vice, another guy doesn't drink anymore. I mean, it's got to be tough to fucking travel around the world, do 2 gigs sometimes in 2 cities, and you can't be hungover, man. You got to be sharp,
Yeah, I mean, I don't miss the hangovers at all. But yeah, I had done one of my streams on a Sunday night, and I woke up on Monday morning, and I just wasn't feeling really well. And at first I was like, maybe it's food poisoning. I haven't had food poisoning in a while. Maybe it's that. And then I tried to like waited out, and like by Monday evening, I was just like, oh my God, what's going on?
Death.
Yeah, it was bad. So the next morning, I finally took myself to I'm like one of those people. I don't go to the doctor unless I'm like literally like ready to like 1 foot in the grave.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, dog. He's like, you drink alcohol? And I'm like, do I drink alcohol? Was like, I had one before I got here. It's like
it smelled like alcohol.
And so he was just like, dude, you got, he's like, unless you want to end up, pancreatitis and hanging out in the bed and like basically die a miserable, lonely death. He's like, I would give up the alcohol. I'm like, cool. And that was the day that I stopped drinking. So
yeah.
But again, I'm older. You put alcohol in your body like last 15, 20, 25 years. On a regular basis, the way I was doing it,
Yeah. Same.
But no, I feel great now. I'm not gonna lie. Like when I was here hanging out with you guys for the Super Bowl thing, like I wanted to have a bev,
For sure,
kind of like
dude.
vibe out,
We're
whatever,
getting after it.
But it is what it is, man. Like I'm happy. I feel great. I mean,
it's crazy how life has a way of stepping in. Like I don't talk about it much, but I'm type 2. It was the lifestyle I was living. I was crushing bottles, going home, eating a burrito, falling asleep. My body couldn't keep up, and started losing feeling in my hands and my feet.
Oh,
and
shit.
Went to a doctor, and he was like, "Yeah, bro, you're full blown type 2." So, at that point, I stopped and just figured out, it's still a struggle every day, and like it's hard. Somebody walks up with a $20 shot or whatever, you feel like a jerk not taking it, but it's like if you want me around, you gotta understand what's up. So but yeah, man, I think that it's important for us older dudes to tell the younger dudes to adopt a healthier lifestyle, or else it'll catch up, man.
And honestly, that's it. Like, and some of my friends are just like, oh, you like make me feel bad. Like when I drink now, and I'm like, no, I was like, don't. You just know, like you say, you just gotta know, you just gotta know your body and like you gotta know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
Straight up, absolutely.
Kenny Rogers taught me that.
Big Kenny guy. But yeah, man. So you just came out with a mix today.
Tell
us a little bit about that.
Now, that's what I call open format volume deuce.
There we go.
That was another thing. When I was doing all the streaming, it was just taking up a lot of my time. I was doing it like during the pandemic. I was doing it sometimes 7 days a week. Like I'd just wake up and be like, okay, my stream's coming up, and DJ for like 5-6 hours.
Right.
And then, but then I kind of wanted to slowly get away from it. I kind of then eventually was just like, all right, we're starting to work again. I want to go do these gigs, and then I want to be able to not stream as much and have some time. I've been with my girl now a few years, and just spend time doing other things other than being online. Like I don't need to be online anymore. But there are guys like DJ Scene and DJ Angie V and Bella Fiasco and Scratch Bastard and some of the guys. They came out like really strong. DJ Ever. They had audiences that they were able to keep after everyone kind of like opened back up and people started going out. Like they managed to like keep their numbers and like whatever. And for me, it was just like, I'm not trying to get shit faced, and DJ for 5 hours and make $20, on a Sunday night
of gifts or whatever.
Yeah. I'm just like, I think I'm over this now. Like during the pandemic when I couldn't go anywhere, this was fun, but now I want to do these other things. And one of those other things was I hadn't done a mix in a long time. And I was like, been wanting to do a mix where I did just what we said, like it's almost like an hour-long mashup.
Yeah.
Of just fucking whatever, anything, everything. And so I did that one a few months ago in like November. And it actually like was a hit. Like everyone was digging it. It was like one of my most listened to and stream mixes like that I've ever made. And I was like, okay, like I want to try to do this maybe like.
What did you put it out on?
Just Mixcloud.
All right.
No,
because that's part of I love the whole mixtape era. Like, I mean, back in the day, bro. Like, I mean, man, it was so much fun to get DJs mixtapes and then just nerd out on what they were doing. And
man, like even like when I first started DJing in like the early '90s, like I was most people know I was roommates with Z-Trip for a while. I would say roommates. I mean, I basically slept on his couch for a year.
For sure.
But at the end of the day, I had my own setup in his house and I would make mixtapes and stuff at his house, and had draw out my own covers, or we had like another one of our DJ buddies do the cover, and I got into these themes, and I was like, used a 4-track tape recorder, and
Dope.
was like sampling like Reservoir Dogs and things like that, and it was just fun. It was kind of like doing the same shit on a 4-track machine, because you could play 4 songs at once. You could do like an instrumental and acapella, whatever.
So explain to people what a 4-track is.
So 4-track, God, this is like ancient. It's like a tape recorder that like has 4 tracks. You can basically record on one track, and then you stop and you rewind it, and then you record again on the second track on top of it.
Right. It was basically like before computers were
Before
a thing,
computer, yeah. Before Ableton, stuff like that.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
Pro Tools, whatever. And but yeah, we make them on the 4 tracks, and it was pretty cool. You know.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to use one now. But
I mean, I remember going to Swell back in the day. Remember
Swell? Yeah, of
And,
course.
I think it was LP and was it Radar or Z Trip? It was Uneasy Listening or so. What was it? Remember that?
I think I know what you're talking about.
I
Yeah.
remember seeing. I thought it was on a cassette.
Yeah.
It's just what a throwback, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I did. I collected mixtapes. You know, I would listen to all the Clue tapes and Mr. C tapes and a lot of the East Coast mixtapes. And you know, then there was the pirate DJs from San Francisco, and you know, they had all the good underground hip hop records. And I was like, I want those records. And but they were crushing it, and I was like, I want to make tapes like that as well. And then I listened to tapes nonstop, nonstop.
That was it. I mean, I grew up in in South Chicago, and you would go to Hot Jams or whatever to pick up your your vinyl and shit back in the day. But they had all those like house DJs, Julian Perez, and all these like dudes that were just both sides. They would just rinse house music, and it was like
That's dope.
Yeah, so that was how I kind of got into listening to mixtapes.
But I listen to mixes a lot still to this day. Like, like when I'm working out.
Me too.
When I work out, I listen to a lot of mixes. Like in the car, like sometimes like when I'm traveling, I'll like put like a mix on like while I'm on the plane, whatever. But I like to hear what other guys are doing. And another thing too is certain venues, I get booked in venues that I'm basically expected most of the time to play the same stuff every night, just in a different
DMX
venue.
Party Up.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. It's like I have like no one's booking me for a festival set, even though I could play a festival set. So I want to hear festival
So book
sets.
Fashen for a festival.
Yeah, but
set.
I want to hear festival sets because I like that shit too. Or just certain things, and I'm like, so I try to listen to different things that I'm just like, okay, well, I don't want to listen to stuff that I play every night. I listen to something that I never play. Like I want to hear what someone else is doing.
Oh yeah.
And so, but I get inspired by those, and then I'll hear records that I'm just like, oh, I know where I could use that song, or I know where I could use this thing or this or whatever. So
Yeah.
I try to stay on top of listening to people's mixes when I can. And there's a lot, lately a lot of my friends have been posting stuff like live mixes, like my buddy DJ XL, Spider, different spots. From like Bungalow in LA and like the Flow Room in LA. Like Flow Room is kind of like the hot spot in LA right now.
Okay.
It's like the celeb spot, and the music is very eclectic, and it's like super dope. And I'm like, see, this is a vibe. So I like to listen to those like mixes from those guys, and yeah, it's pretty dope.
Like Hollywood and LA has always been an interesting scene to me, man.
It's really weird, man.
I've played out there a bunch, like back in the day. I haven't really played much there recently, but it's wild. I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason. It seems like how you
There's
pop
none
out there.
There's none.
Yeah.
And like right before I moved to LA in 2009, like I was going out there a lot for AM and Aoki's parties, Banana Split and Cinespace.
Legendary.
And those were insane parties. I was like, oh, see, I fuck with this.
Yeah.
And there aren't parties like that anymore. There's some pop-ups. We actually, Dimmock just did a few months back. We did like a Cinespace anniversary party. It was me, A-Track, Uffy, Them Jeans, Dano, Bot from Crookers. It was really insane. It was so fucking dope. And they're talking about doing like maybe like quarterly on that, doing
That's
something
dope.
like that again,
That's
which was
cool.
amazing.
Yeah.
But then like just this past week, my buddy Mike B, who was like the main resident for Banana Split Sundays with AM, there was another party called Temporary Spaces that he used to do, and they just did like a one-off pop-up like this past week at this venue that he's involved with called the Friend Bar, and me and my girl went to that the other night, and it was just like all old, like new disco 80s. Like it was such a fucking vibe. And I was like, this is what I'm talking about. There's like nothing going on like this. And it was just kind of like this little spot in Silver Lake. And I'm like, and on like a Tuesday night.
That's dope.
And I was like, this is, and it was popping. And like,
yeah, I mean, as you know, guys like us, we play fucking Usher, every night for 100
exactly
years. So it's like, we got invited to a warehouse party a while back, and it was super goth. And like, it was absolutely amazing. I mean, they're in there playing like Depeche Mode and shit in this grimy warehouse. And I was like, this is it, man.
Yeah.
Like, this is fun, you know?
Yeah, and it's crazy, too, because I haven't gone to a party like that in so long. And then literally I went to two last week. It was that one. And then this other party that was this past Saturday night in L.A. It's called Friends from New York. Okay. And it's these promoters from New York. And they get like some New York DJs. My buddy Ross One did it. Stone Rock did it. And it's like all classic hip-hop, soul breaks, 80s disco, and it was like super vibey, and it was like it was just like a New York party. It was in a Chinese restaurant.
Are people? I mean, like when they're playing that shit, are people? Is it more like to be seen, or is it more like
these parties? People were dancing.
Okay,
but like the regular parties, like the spots that I play in LA, like for a paycheck, those places, people are there to be seen.
Right.
Like, yeah, I mean, like those like these other parties, like, you know, you go in there and you're just like, they're like, hey, you know, we got a few $100, but you get to play fucking disco. And you're like, hell yeah.
Let's go.
But then, you know, you go to like the main hot spots in LA where they're like, you can come in, no, you can't come in. And, you know, they're just like, just hit them with Lil Uzi all night.
Yeah, see,
all right.
That I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? But no, like I found, you know, just at the Hot Chick, like sometimes if people aren't having fun, I'll throw them a left curveball. I'll play Wham or some shit.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And the next thing you know,
good.
like people are wanting to hear sing-alongs. People are wanting to hear stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like the music that's coming out now, and I don't want to be the crotchety old dude, but like, you know, some of it's a vibe, bro. But most of it, it's not it. You can't play it on the dance floor. You can't.
It's just different. And like I was talking with someone the other day, and they were like, "I wonder when there's going to be a resurgence of like the rock bands, like like the alternative rock, like the Blink-182s and the things like that."
The
and
guitar
I'm like, dude, like I'm ready for it. Like fucking bring it on.
For sure.
Yeah.
Nickelback, bring back Nickelback.
I was mad at Nickelback the first time.
I'm not mad at him.
I've had enough Future. I love Future, but I'm just like, fuck, man. Like everyone sounds like Future. Like
yeah. I mean, it's
good, man. Every Future song sounds like the last Future song.
And I've been watching.
Love for Future.
I love Future too, but you know, it's like copy paste type shit. It seems like it's coming out with. But you know, I was gonna say I've been watching like James Hype. Some of these dudes
James
that
Hype
are like
is fucking dope.
Sick, bro.
Bro, he's so
sick.
good. Like so good. I met that dude in when they had that conference here in Phoenix last summer.
Oh wow.
Out in I don't know, wherever.
It was Wigwam or some shit, right?
Yeah, something like that. And he was a good dude. And yeah, I mean, that guy's amazing. And I like what he's doing. Like, he's like truly, you know, you always see those like the turntablist versus the CDJ guy. Right. And he's a CDJ guy, and he treats some things like turntables. And I'm like, yo, like he crushes it. Like, you know, obviously you got your guys like A-Track and all those guys that, you know, who are doing that as well. But, you know, I feel like this guy just kind of does it on a different level. Like it's just a different style. It's not so much the scratching. He does the scratching and stuff, but you know, he's using 4 tables. He's doing all these different things, and I'm really impressed by that dude. And I actually like his original music as well. So
yeah, he's really good. And I always you know, think to myself while I'm sitting here, you know, can't go to bed. It's like, you know, I grew up playing vinyl. You know, I grew up as a scratch DJ, turntables, whatever you want to call it. I always would love to share that energy with a new generation, but I always wonder like how to tastefully do it, or like how much is too much, because you know you don't want to be in there chirp flaring on a guy, you know, on fucking Afrojack or whatever the fuck, you know. But I think he does a great job of doing that. I think there's probably going to be a whole new wave of younger DJs that kind of blend the two together, hopefully, you know.
It's funny when you read comments and like the Instagram posts and things like that, when like he'll post like a video or something, and then you'll be like, oh, real DJing, and then other people are just like, oh, what he's doing is so, and I'm like, it's so easy, and I'm like, man, just people are critical, critical good, critical bad, but yeah, no, I agree with you. It's kind of like a new wave, and it's also nice to see like people comment. Like, oh, the way he's manipulating those things or the way he's using those things. And it just, I don't know. I feel like there's you know, like when I started DJing in the '90s, it was very heavily revolved around turntablism.
Thank you.
You know, like
Yeah.
you had to like kind of know how to scratch.
you
Or
had to
people were
pay
like,
for
"You're whack, bro."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yo, but I'm playing the hot records." Yeah, but you can't scratch, so you're whack.
Well, I
Now
saw.
it doesn't matter if you scratch or not. You
No
just
one
like
gives a shit. Yeah.
yeah.
As long as you got a cool Instagram or whatever.
I don't even
but-
scratch that much anymore. It's not my scratching was never my
Forte.
my what?
Forte.
It was not my forte. I like scratching. I never excelled at scratching. I was like I kind of hit a plateau. It was like breakdancing. I could never do the windmill. I could do
can
everything
breakdan-
else but the windmill. As soon as I got to the windmill, I was like, that's it. Like I guess I can't do the windmill. Like I guess my
I get
my
that.
breaking career is over. But it's kind of the same with scratching. Like I got some cuts, but I'm not like, I'm not fucking, Kubert.
But in my opinion, that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be an accent. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be a fill. You know
But
what
I love
mean?
it. But I like the guys like Z Trip and the guys that like and Jazzy Jeff. It's like they're soulful scratches. They're not, it's not like crack 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 crack. Those are great.
Some of those scratches sound like where those dudes learned. Like, that's an 80s
Yeah,
scratch.
but I like the div div. Yeah, exactly. It was like it's the
sure.
flavor scratches. But yeah, that was just my thing. But yeah, I got into DJing because of I was watching, and I think I've said this before, but I used to watch. First, when I graduated high school, I immediately moved into an apartment over here in Scottsdale, right off of Camelback, with 6 other dudes.
Oh, shit.
It was a two-bedroom apartment with 7 dudes in it.
Damn, life comes at you fast.
Man, I slept on one of those like futons. It was like it wasn't even like a real futon. It was like that chair that like folded out. It folded in half and then had a bolster.
It just slid.
And you basically just unfolded it and laid it down. It looked like a sleeping bag.
I think I had the same joint.
Oh
yeah.
man, and like dudes just sat and farted in it all day, and then I would sleep on it at night. It was pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sounds great. Yeah, sounds excellent.
But yeah, that was like. And it was those nights when we would, on Sundays, it was either Fridays or Sundays, we would watch Def Comedy Jam, and Kid Capri at the end would be like
Dope
scratching.
DJ.
I was in a dance crew back then, and so we would watch the dancers, and we would watch Kid Capri, and I was watching the dancers trying to learn moves, but then I was also watching Kid Capri, like he's like,
Yeah, he was
and I
dope.
was like, fuck, man, like this shit is dope.
Oh, yeah.
And then that's when, we would be out of the club, and we went to this club called Step Above. In like this plaza. It was like were you around when Video Roundup was around?
I wasn't, no.
It was like right over, where Zorba's adult shop is, right
Yeah.
over in Scottsdale Road.
Yeah.
It was, like,
I know
right
it's
across
I've
the
never
street.
been there.
Sure, you have not been there. But it was across the street, literally across the street in this plaza, Plaza 444, and I as a kid I would go there, Video Roundup, and shovel quarters in there, and video games. And then, and then it was just this like strip mall, and it had like a empty space, and they would do like a pop-up thing, and Z-Trip was the DJ. So me and my boys would go there and dance. And then Z-Trip was the DJ there, and that's how I met Z-Trip.
I'm trying to picture you dancing. Like, I'm trying to picture
Dude, I
like,
had
your
skills
fit.
back then. Don't ask me to do it now.
I was gonna
It's
say
like truffle shuffle now. But back then I had some skills.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, but that's kind of how I like wanted to learn how to DJ, and then like when I saw Z-Trip, and I was like, yo man, can I try that? And he let me kind of like try to scratch, and obviously it was butt. And but then he
told
was
my
like, yo,
chick-
come back to the crib and I'll show you like how to really do it. And
And that's how you used to
that's it.
download, yeah.
That's how it all started, and that's when I was just like, fuck, man, nothing else in life matters except this. And I literally like was taking, bussing tables, doing this. I was working there. I was just like, oh fuck, man. I actually left. I was living with my friends, my roommates, and everything, and I actually went back home and lived with my mom for like 6 months, just to save money so I could buy turntables.
No shit.
Yeah, I was like, fuck, every cent that I got went to turntable. I would just say, I have to have turntables. And dude, that was it. That's where it all fucking started. And it was
What
a
was your
passion.
first turntable?
Huh?
What was your first turn? Did you get Techniques straight out the gate?
Yeah, I actually bought my first turntables were Z-Trip's old used Techniques.
Oh shit.
He had traded them in to Swell, and then I bought them from Swell.
You still got them?
I do not have them. No, I do not have them. And I
History.
bought a mixer. I bought a Gemini. What was it? Transformer mixer or whatever.
That orange and black joint?
It was the orange and black joint. Yeah, it was.
I
the
had a
orange and
DJ in it. I went to
black. It had like that. Like when you would do it, you get the little Q burn. Like
no slope.
yeah, you had to like keep spraying WD-40 in it, or you get the
It's OG
crackly
shit.
sound out of the speakers.
For sure, dude. For sure.
But yeah, that was my first shit.
I got a Newmark DJ in a box, belt driven. Had fucking literally a belt that pulled the platter. It was terrible.
Yeah.
But obviously that disappeared pretty quickly and
Yeah.
got some techniques. But that's a
You know what's
great
crazy though?
What's that?
I've only had 2 pairs of turntables my whole life.
Really?
That pair and then the pair I bought after that. That's it.
And you still have
And I've been
that
DJing
pair
for
after
32
that?
years.
You still have your 1200s?
I actually sold 1200s about a year. No, about 6 months ago.
It's all
Not
good.
because I just didn't want them or whatever. Just I'm kind of at that point in my career and in life where I'm just like, I don't need to have these. I'm like, I'm wired. If I show up at a club with turntables, like it's like
Yeah.
riding a bike. Like I'm good. Like I don't need it. I have a controller now. I bought a Rev 7.
Okay.
And I mainly bought it because I still like doing a couple pop-up streams here and there, but I don't want to have a full fucking setup.
It's so easy just to plug in. Yeah.
Dude, I rest it in the closet, take it out. Takes me, I got to set up a few things, but
If you're dope, you can be dope on anything.
bro,
right?
I set my controller on the coffee table and I sit on the edge of the couch and I fucking watch TV and stream and I'm just like, and it's cool, it's chill. But anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, actually DJ Excel, he bought my turntables and he just actually uses them just to listen to music. He has
That's
his
tight.
DJ setup and then he uses the turntables just to like, when he's in the living room and just wants to like smoke weed, listen.
That's dope. I can't wait to
Something
get
like
mine up.
that.
We've been talking about. I have a pair in the garage and a pair in here, but yeah. No, that brought up a great question for me. So we were talking about James Hype, right? Mm-hmm. I was watching this episode of his vlog, whatever it is, and he was on the way to a gig, and he said, "I don't want the 3000s. I want the 2000s and 900, I believe."
Yeah.
So I guess they didn't have the 900. They had that V10 fucking thing with the onboard compression or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Whatever the hell you need onboard compression for. But so he shows up to the stage. They end up sourcing a 900 and the 3000s. Middle of his set, dude hits the wrong thing. It goes fucking ape shit. He walks off the stage, right? So I'm reading the comments. Everybody's like, I don't understand. If you're gonna, whatever. Why can't you just do this? Well, in my opinion, it's not the same playing on the 3000s if you're scratching or if you're doing that kind of thing. So my question to you was, what's your current setup and why are you using that versus the other thing?
I mean, most of the spots that I'm playing at, which I'm actually, I was going to ask you earlier what the setup is tonight.
We have 2000 NX2s.
I love that. That's fine. That's great. Most of the spots are still using the 2000s and the NX,
900.
or like an S11.
Yeah.
You know,
got the
I
S9
had
over there. But
yeah, I had an S9 at home. I actually just sold my S9 to one of my friends who has a club in Riverside. But same thing. I didn't need it anymore. I'm like, now I just have the controller that I use at home. But as far as setups go, most of them, it's most of the ones these days is either 2 or the 3000s. I can use either. I'm not using them like James Hype is using them. In fact, I don't even really use any of the buttons except the start and stop on the CDJs. I still mainly use just the keys on my laptop or the pads on the S11 or the S9. I'm still super basic. For me, like, you know, kind of going back to like when, you know, why I started DJing, it wasn't to like scratch and be technical. It was I wanted to rock a party like Kid Capri. Like I wanted to be that guy on the mic, rocking the party, playing the records that made everyone go, what? That's it. So I'm able to do that on pretty much any setup. I just need to be able to push, you know, I just need a proper working mixer. But I agree with what you were saying, like with James Hype. It's just like, hey, you know, like DJs these days, like, and all the different equipment, it's kind of like, it's
So
like
much,
you know, you don't throw Dave Grohl on stage with a guitar that he's not used to playing on because
Right.
it's not gonna. He needs to play on the guitar that he's used to playing on, or it's not gonna sound the same.
Right.
Same thing with the DJ equipment. If a guy says in his rider, "This is what I need," it's because that's how he knows how to use those. Now in my rider, like, you know, the S11 is my number one choice, and then the Pioneer or the NXS is the second choice. But I can use either one. I honestly, I like the 9 and the 11 only because I got spoiled using it over the pandemic. I used it every day in my living room, so I just know it better now.
Yeah.
And so that's the only thing. But I can play on anything. But yeah, like I said, I'm not playing it. I'm not playing like James Hype.
There's just so much gear out there now, dude. It's like
It's crazy,
you know.
and you know, and it's, you know, I've seen a few. Like I'm looking at your little controller over here, and I see you got like a bunch of different things here in the room. But
Yeah.
it's crazy. I've actually been to gigs where I've seen like I've had a guy like open for me, and like he's literally like on the actual mixer. Like the setup is like and he's got a controller that's like
Yeah.
literally like the size of a laptop or like a keyboard, like a
Yeah.
and he's doing a DJ set on that, and I'm kind of like,
I mean, I saw Javen or somebody else crush on one of those little Hercules fucking scratching on those little wheels and shit. I was
DJ
like,
Dynamic.
yeah.
Holy shit! Like Dynamics in LA, he uses one of those, and he'll do some videos. Same thing, little dude. He just crushing it. I'm like, what the fuck?
I don't know. My hands are too far. I got sausage fingers or something.
I'm with you, bro.
Yeah, man.
Arthritis
Hell
sausage.
Yeah. It's all good. Well, all right, let's go here. What's your go-to right now, man, in an open format club? Let's say you're playing in Vegas. We were talking about you playing at Tao.
Okay.
What are you coming out the gate with?
I got a couple intro records. Or basically, what I'll do is I have like a generic intro. It's got like a siren out. I mean, a lot of the guys do it, but and then it's probably like 15, 20 seconds long, and then it leaves it open to basically come out of the box with like whatever the big record is at the time. Or a lot of times too, like the Vegas spots, a lot of them prefer you play hip hop, or at least most of the spots I play, it's mainly hip hop, unless you're a Fisher or Chris Lake or whatever, and then obviously you're expected to play what you play.
Mm-hmm.
But in those open format clubs, they mainly lean on hip hop, but they always want you to kind of come out of the box with like a heater, like EDM, like sing along record, like shit, I can't even think of one off the top of my head. I don't know, Boots with the Fur.
Shout out to Flow Rider.
Something like that.
Anti-Pink.
Something like that,
Yeah.
and then say they fire off the cryo and the confetti and like all the fucking, whatever.
Yeah.
And then, and then they're like, okay, the excitement is there. Now let's get into some fucking, some Lil Uzi. But, I mean, it is what it is, but,
Yeah.
I honestly don't really have any go-to records right now. I mean, there's a handful of good songs out there, but I find myself playing a lot of like late 2000s or early 2010s music is
Yeah.
popping off right now. A lot of sing-along stuff in that realm. I don't know. It's the same records. I play, a lot of the, Travis Scott. I actually have like a crate called Rap Ragers.
Oh shit! Okay.
And that's where I put like the Travis Scotts and the Sheck Wesses and the Chief Keef and all that. And so
ratchet shit.
I like to play out of that crate. It's pretty fun, some Meek Mill.
Yeah.
It's fun, but then you got to play some stuff for the girls. So then you're like, all right, let me play some Lotto. Let me play some.
Do you play Dreams and Nightmares?
I play Dreams and Nightmares all the time. My buddy Benzie and my buddy Low Beezy in Philadelphia actually did a Dreams and Nightmares blend with the Lil Uzi Vert I Just Wanna Rock, and it was really good. And but then these guys, they basically took that idea and they ran with it, kind of like reflipped it, and it's a little more exciting. And so that one actually it works pretty dope. But then you're kind of like. It's kind of like you can only really run that song once.
Yeah, dude. And honestly, that's a record I've never played. And that sounds
Which
like
one, Dreams and
blasphemy.
Nightmares?
Yeah, I've never played that record. Only because, since it's come out or since whatever, I've been kind of in my own lane and doing my own thing over here at Hot Chicken. And it's not really what we play, you know what I mean? But also it's like, fuck, man, how long is that intro? It's like 2 minutes. When it kicks in, it slaps. But
people know the words to it, sing along to it. You know where the record hits is in Texas. I play a record in Houston, the club I used to play in Houston. And, man, it was a staple. Like, if you didn't play it, you weren't getting booked again.
For sure.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, as soon as you put it on, they turn the lights off, and, like, everyone's singing along. I'm like, holy shit. It's like their anthem at this club. And, but, yeah, I mean, I don't run that one all the time, but I don't know. It just varies, man. It just varies. But I like my testing ground on stuff is Highlight Room in LA. That's like my regular LA spot that I play monthly. And that's where I kind of like test out like some new records, whatever. Because it's like cool kids, they just stand around and don't do shit.
So it doesn't matter.
So it doesn't matter. You just kind of get the reactions or whatever. And then I'm like, all right, well, if they're kind of reacting like this, not reacting, this would probably do well in like a, in a big room.
So growing up here in AZ, where were your musical influences? Because I mean, obviously Texas, LA,
dude. I got it. My mom and my stepdad used to listen to like Neil Diamond,
bangers.
Yeah, Billy Joel. Like they listened to all Styx, Queen, all the yacht rock kind of shit.
Hell yeah.
They listened to all the classic rock, and so I would listen to those records. And then my mom had like a lot of old like maybe 60s record, like, like Buddy Holly and
Nice.
shit like that. So I would listen to those records on a record player in my bedroom when I was a kid. And, and so I don't know. I think that's where I like really got into music, and I wanted a guitar. I've definitely told this story before, but I wanted an electric guitar. I mean, I wanted to be a fucking rocker. I was like, I want to exactly. I was like, give me that electric guitar. I'm gonna be the next fucking Steve Vai.
For sure.
And so my dad was like, all right, I'll get you a guitar. So Christmas morning. I mean, obviously, I was probably like 10 years old, 10 years old. Christmas morning, I see the box. It's a guitar box. I'm like, fuck yeah, I got a guitar for Christmas. Fucking open that bitch up. It was an acoustic guitar. It looked like Conway Twitty had just dropped it off.
Merle Haggard.
Merle Haggard. I was like, yo, does this thing come with a cowboy hat or what?
They didn't want you with that electric shit in the house. Come on.
And
now.
I was like, what is? I was so crushed. I was like, what is this? And my dad's like, if you learn on that, then we'll get you an electric guitar.
He's right. He was right though,
And I was like, fuck this, man. I don't even want to learn on this. I think it was more about just having that electric guitar
for sure
versus learning to play the guitar. And I tried to learn to play it a little bit, and it just wasn't working. It just wasn't working. It was like scratching.
Hell yeah!
I got to a point where I was just like, it ain't working.
Well, that's I feel that though. I have a lot of instruments and I can play all right.
Yeah.
I when I was younger, I wanted an electric guitar. Same kind of thing. I was into like Pantera and fucking Nirvana and just all kinds of shit. My mom was like, you better go cut some lawns. So we had a lawnmower. I cut lawns. 2 summers took. It's a great story, by the way. But this electric guitar that's over here behind you, it was a Fender Squier. It was the worst guitar ever, but I carried it every day.
This black one right here?
No, the red one.
This one?
Yeah, it's signed by Korn too. It's legendary. So check this out. So fucking I carry this around. Everyone in high school that knew me, don't worry about it. Just slam it against everything in here. Everyone that knew me, I walked around with this. I played in jazz band and all that shit. When I wanted to DJ, I didn't have no money, so I sold it to one of my homeboys, Mike Selka, shout out. He paid me, I think, $150.
Okay.
Put it away. 20 years later down the line, this fucker comes marching through my front door with this guitar. He kept it in storage I sold it to get my first pair of turntables. This dude put it in storage for 20 years and held on. It's not worth anything except emotions, but
who's
pretty cool.
Who's that?
No, it was Korn, the rock band Korn, which
I just saw David. I just assumed it was Craig David.
That's their old drummer. Yeah, right. I wish it was Craig David, but yeah, no, we stood in line to watch Korn years ago, and they signed
it.
That's
dope.
So, yeah, man, but
it's a good story.
It's a good story.
Yeah, my I had Star Wars figures and stuff like that, and we had a storage out back of our house in Scottsdale, in South Scottsdale, and I mean, I had like everything Star Wars, and basically my parents put it out there, and just the heat ruined everything.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, the story wasn't going nowhere. It was all gone.
Arizona has a tendency of ruining things. I mean, like we can't even fucking use a laptop out here. At the hotels and shit, I have to go on sticks. And
my thing is I was when I played over the summer at the pool. I was having issues with the laptop. Yeah.
And it's funny because everyone's they always all these guys try and engineer these cooling systems and all this shit, and I'm like, bro, just fucking record box it and get out there and be somebody. You know
Dude, I can't fuck a record box. I tried it. I don't like it. I'd rather just have a folder of songs on sticks.
Well, and it's like, okay, you want to go and you're in Serato, right?
Yeah.
I got an idea. Okay, cool. The way my brain works, I'm 3 songs ahead. So I open up my prepare, searching, boom, boom, boom. If you're on CDJs, number one, you don't have a prepare.
Yeah.
So you have to go back out to search.
Yeah.
If you're on 2000s or, anything like that, you're going to have a bad time searching. And it's just like you can't get creative because the machinery or whatever the fuck you call it kind of blocks your creative process. Do you feel the same way?
Here's my thing with record box. To me, record box is like you're trying to go from point A to point B, and you're in your car, you literally stop. All you got to do is drive straight, and point B is right there. But when you open record box, you basically, it's like make a left here, then make a right, then make a U-turn, then go straight, then go backwards, go back where you started,
like
and then
space
go
bars,
straight.
not space bar. It's
and I'm
click.
like, what the fuck, man?
Whatever.
Like, yeah. So anyway,
sort us out, record box. Damn you.
Sorry, record
box.
It's
all good. We went on a tangent. Yeah. So, yeah, man. So you move around a lot. Where's your favorite spot to play currently? Right now.
Honestly, maybe. I don't know why. I actually love playing my local spot, Highlight Room in LA. Like, I don't know anyone there. I mean, I just know the staff and whatever. But like, I usually don't know a lot of the people that show up. But for whatever reason, I don't know. It's just a vibe. Like, I always have a good time there. It's super chill. It's like, I don't know. I really like that spot. Maybe I like it because I get to actually go home and sleep in my own bed
For sure.
like when it's over.
Yeah.
But I like doing that. But honestly, anywhere. Oh, one of the spots I really love right now is this spot Rec Room in San Jose. Shout out to my boy Arcade. Shout out to Marco, and they basically created this like cool, like fun, like it's almost like it's like a dive bar, but it's not a dive bar. It's like it almost just has like a dive bar vibe, but it's a nice place, and but it's not like bottle service. They got like a couple like tables and things, for people that want to have that kind of like whatever, that privacy and whatever. But it's a GA, and you just go in there and people dance and they sing along. And the thing I like about it the most is my buddy Arcade has just created this vibe in that room where it's a lot of Bay Area music and like old R&B and stuff like that, like some Jersey Club stuff, just random, some 80s, just random shit. Like the last set that he played, he was playing like a bunch of old like I can't even remember now, but like records that like Earth would play on the noon mix, and people were loving it. And I'm like, see, this is what I'm talking about. And like people singing along to shit, like whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, this is a vibe. And so that's a fun spot. I'm actually there in 2 weeks. Right now, that's my only, other than my LA gig, that's my only like contracted residency for this year, which is awesome. I'm there monthly. So
San Jose, you're talking about?
San Jose, and it's amazing. And my buddy Arcade and Marco, the owner, they got something special there. And then there's another party that I'm been anxious to play. Everyone's heard of like the Do Over. I've played the Do Over plenty of times. The R&B backyard kind of party that really exploded. I was lucky enough to play that party. Before I moved to LA. In the backyard at the original Cranes venue. It was literally backyard of a house.
Wow.
And then, but now, like, do-overs, like, all over the world. I mean, they're doing huge parties, like, in every major city all over the world. And I haven't got to play that one as often these days. It's just so big. But this kid, Nopa Slaps in the Bay, he put together a party called R&B and Ribs. And it's similar. It's not
great.
the same party, but it's kind of a similar vibe. And that one has been popping off like lately everywhere. They just did like a version in Austin for South by Southwest, and you get guys like Jay Espinoza and Arcade's done it. My buddy Chaos in San Diego, and just the records that they're playing, they're just super fun. It's like a mix of like 90s R&B and 2000s R&B and like current, like some Chris Brown, with some like 112 and some Stevie Wonder. It's just
you got to be able to sing along, man.
Yeah, it's vibes, and it's just those are the things I'm hoping to play that one this year.
Do you feel like people are looking for? I feel like part of the reason why we've been successful in what we're doing. I mean, we're playing older music, 2000, and I'm speaking at the Hot Chick.
Yeah.
People are. I feel like there's so much in their phone. There's so much digital interaction on a daily basis that they can't wait to have an experience. And a lot of times we play all videos mostly at Hot Chick. A lot of times I'll literally see people stop in the club and just stare at the video because they've never seen the fashion. They've never seen the dance moves. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think if you can tap into that as a DJ, a club owner, promoter, whatever it is, and give people that experience, like people are really looking for it right now. Do you feel the same way about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, the only digital experience I'm over is the Bad Bunny on your cell phone in my face. That digital experience has came and left.
Oh my God.
But it's amazing. But now I feel like it's been adopted by everybody. Now it's like they'll just put anything on their phone. Do this,
it's
that,
obnoxious, bro.
Or you get the guy that's like, download this off of YouTube right now and play it. I'm like, bruh, it don't work like that.
I say it ain't that kind of party, bruh.
It don't work like that.
So this cross stitch behind me, I made my mom make it. It says, "Please leave the DJ alone." Right. It's partly because of that. It's like, man, do you go into the fucking kitchen at your favorite restaurant, start putting salt and pepper on everyone's burgers? No, you fucking don't. So
exactly,
like 9 out of 10 times, if this cat's in one of the hottest clubs, he's worked or she has worked really hard to get to that point. And it's
Yeah.
like, don't put your fucking phone up anymore, people. Don't do that shit.
Yeah.
'Cause it just sucks. It's
like
not
we
nice.
know what we're doing. And as far as Bad Bunny goes, it's like he's like the biggest artist in the world. We're gonna play it.
Right.
Like you're gonna hear. If you're in here right now, you're definitely gonna hear a Bad Bunny song.
Yeah, and you're not impressing me with a Bad Bunny request. I mean, at the end of the day, hit me with like
you think you're like exactly, yeah. Come up to the booth and ask me for some shit that I'm like, whoa. Actually, when I last time I played in Hawaii a couple months ago, I was playing in Maui, and that vibe. I played a spot in Maui called the Dirty Monkey, and it's a total dive bar. But I hate calling them dive bars because there's dive bars which you literally go in there and you're like, oh, I wouldn't even go in the restroom. And then there's bars that have dive bar vibe, but then they're like super tricked out and nice and like vibey and like clean and like amazing. And this is one of those places. I love it. Shout out to Dirty Monkey in Maui. Can't wait to be back. That was the spot I was telling you about. He's coming with me. But dude, that is a vibe. My buddy Casey, he's like the resident DJ there. And same thing, you could play anything you want in there. And this lady came up to me, and I had the Bad Bunny phone in my face because it's a lot of tourists. Mm-hmm. So they're in Maui as tourists, and they're just like, well, fuck it, we're going to go out. And so, of course, they're going to be like, DJ, we want to hear Bad Bunny. But then this lady comes up, and she goes, do you have any Men at Work? Do you have Down Under? And I'm like, I do. And I'm totally going to fucking play that.
Fuck yeah.
And that girl that just asked me for Bad Bunny can fucking kick rocks.
That's the best, though, when you get a weird, obscure left field.
Oh.
Like, if you're going to put your phone up, have it say some weird shit on it.
Oh, she was like, Men at Work, Down Under. And I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, I was like, I might even bring it back and play it again.
Well, yeah, that's I mean, dude, sing-alongs, that's what we're going to do tonight over at the Hot Chick. Yeah, man. I mean, we got about 5 minutes left. Just gonna wrap up. Say thanks for coming out and being my first guest on the.
Man, I really
podcast.
appreciate it. And dude, you know what? I've known you for years. We've definitely crossed paths in different, like obviously, like when I was doing radio and you were hanging out with Earth a lot, I would see you a lot then, and then I would see you at other venues here and there, and then you booked me in some spots, and now you're doing this, and. You know, I used to play out here a lot at some of the other venues, and then they're just no longer really booking anybody. And then when you reach out to me, you're like, hey, would you want to do this thing? And it's like you're like, it'd be nice to have like Arizona veteran come back in, and I was like, man, like I truly appreciate that, man.
Okay,
so,
bro.
Dude, I'm serious. Like I got love for you,
Doug.
but and just like the things like you tell me, and like you know, just it's nice to know that like. People do respect the work you put in, and like the fact that you were just like, dude, you know, you like made a brand in this state, and then you like left, you like successfully left and stayed gone.
Yeah.
You know, like, dude, when I left for LA, like, you know, the shit fell apart. You know, like AM passed away 28 days after I got to LA.
Yeah, it was
and I thought for sure, like, I was like, that's it. I'm moving back to Arizona, and you know, I stayed out there. You know, I've been out there 14 years now, almost. Yeah, 14 years.
Yeah.
And so when I come home, and it's nice to be treated like family.
Absolutely.
But then it's also nice to be treated like, dude, like you made it, and thanks for coming back. And I was like, you know,
hell yeah.
I appreciate that, man. I really do. And it just. Yeah.
Thank you for coming back, bro.
Dude, I love you, bro.
Yeah, I love you too. But I got to talk about the art thing before we get out of here, because I'm a big art guy.
Yeah. Yo, his studios, you got, I don't know, maybe he'll like splice them in, but his studio's got like all kinds of dope shit in here.
Thank you.
Yeah,
appreciate
it's
that.
nice.
I have a very interesting taste. My wife calls it cartoons. I'm a very big like into like street art and bold lines and solid colors and just things that are kind of almost reminiscent of like the 90s Simpsons, Ninja Turtles kind of vibes. You know, you collect a lot of original pieces, and you've always had. I remember back in the day, they used to be like, Fashen fucking collects chairs. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Fashen collects chairs. You know what I mean? And then like now I look back and you got like $10,000 chairs in your damn house or whatever. Like
it was. I started collecting mid-century modern furniture early, like maybe like late 90s. And that's not even early. I mean, like that was there were people collecting it like early in the 80s and whatever. But like I got into it like around. I also wasn't you know in that age bracket back then. But I really got into that in like modern architecture, things like that. And then I kind of crossed over into like street art a little bit and stuff. And then when I moved to LA and then one of my friends was like, you should look at some original art, and I was like, I didn't know you could buy like things like that. You know, I always thought you go to galleries just to see, and he's like, no, all that shit's for sale. And so I was like, I bought my first original painting by a guy named Louis Eisner, and it just kind of went from there. And now I was like, I still collect some editions here and there, but I've also kind of like moved away from street art, and now I collect mainly contemporary art.
You got some cause. You got some stuff. I've seen.
I don't have any of my cause stuff anymore. I had it, but yeah. At the before cause where he is now, I had like almost every single toy. I had several prints, like bunch of shit.
See, that's interesting. That's like, I don't collect the toys, figures.
Yeah,
Sorry,
figures,
some of the other guys get mad if you call them toys. There's these little things. Like personally, I collect limited edition prints.
Yeah.
I wait for these artists to drop, and then I'll, much like a sneaker drop, I'll go and wake up on Sunday morning and get the drop.
I'll have to show you some pictures. I had a couple Banksies back in the day and editions and things like that. Yeah, and I no longer have them, but yeah, like I'm still ever evolving. My life is like three things: it's music, it's art, and it's my lady. And but yeah, art is still very much like a very important part of my life right now. Still, like I'm buying, and I don't sell as much, but I'm buying all the time.
Hey, it's an asset class, man. I mean, Jay-Z's got like 400 or 500 million in art, whatever.
My
man.
girl's like, fuck, man. She's like, what? It's just like another piece of art. Oh, lately I've been collecting crystals and crystals and like rock. Like, bro.
My girl's gonna nerd out as soon as we press stop in here.
I gotta put her on it. There's this spot that I shop at in DC all the time. And I got boxes coming weekly. I opened one today before I got on the plane. Opened up, and it had six pieces in it. But yeah, so like, and my girl's just like, where the fuck are we gonna put all this shit? Like, and I'm like, have it on tables. Cat knocked one over the other day and it broke, and I'm like, yeah. So
that's cool. Hey, you like what you like, man,
exactly.
Yeah.
You like what you exactly. You like what you like. But
sure.
No. So art is it's a very important thing to me. I mean, I went to school for art, so that's what I thought I was going to be. I thought I was going to be a painter. I thought I was going to be an artist.
I didn't know that.
And then I ended up being a DJ who collects art. So.
Well, you're doing all right. You've always been an interesting character, bro. So.
Hey, man, I try to keep it real.
Hell yeah, dude.
I just do me, man. I do what makes me happy. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Hey,
like,
I love that. You're a legend to me, dude. You're a legend to a lot of people out here. So thanks for coming back.
Man. I love it out here. I love everyone out here.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's always good to come back and see faces. So I'm excited to see some faces tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna see a lot of faces tonight. That's for sure.
Yeah.
We're gonna get after it. So. Once again, man, thank you again. We'll wrap it up. DJ Fashen.
We got to do this again.
I would love to. I mean, fast forward to part 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Let's do it again.
Absolutely. I'm down to do the same time.
For sure. All right. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to get the fuck out. Peace.